car I've ever felt in my life. Ever since we got that, we never really drive this. But today I'm gonna drive this. Alright, old girl's back on pump gas. We usually ran her on E. Let's see how she feels. That's one thing that is much cooler about this car than the Huracan. This car is 3,000 times quicker than the Huracan. And she has cruise control. Huracan does not. I bought this car 3 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago. I haven't touched it one single time since we got it home. Haven't cleaned it, haven't driven it, pulled it out of the trailer, did some Brodies in the parking lot, parked it in the shop, and that was it. Today we're gonna do some work on the new 1017 horsepower STI. But first, let's get this thing cleaned up. Alrighty boys, we got the car all cleaned up, got her outside. As you can see, this thing needs a little bit of love. Nothing crazy. It does have one really bad oil leak, but cosmetically, headlights leak super bad. Hood is a carbon hood that is severely faded. This fender right here looks like someone burned through polishing it, so I gotta repaint that fender. But other than that, this thing is insane. If you didn't see the video where I bought the car, check out under the hood. Full ETS turbo kit with a 72mm precision turbo. Like I said, man, this car makes over 1,000 horsepower to the wheels, which is insane. Which I have yet to actually feel that. I want to get this oil leak fixed first, and then we can go out for a rip. Car's back in the shop. As you can see, it's a pretty bad oil leak. Let's get her on the lift and figure out what in the heck is going on with the new STI. Got the car up in the air. It's dripping again. Real wet right up in here. There is a total of 3 things to reseal right here. The drain plug itself, the adapter fitting, and then this right here would be the oil temp sensor. So I'm just gonna go ahead, drain the oil, do our first oil change on this motor, and make sure everything's good. I'll probably do the normal filter cut just to make sure overall everything is perfect with this engine. There it goes, dripping again. And hopefully get all these leaks fixed. Now I think we have multiple leaks, which is not a big deal. You can clearly see some power steering fluid dripping down right there. And I'm assuming that fitting right there is the suspect for that issue. Okay, so I think the issue is whoever installed the temp sensor used RTV on both the adapter and the sensor, which doesn't really work all that well, as you guys know, for thread sealant. So something that works well for thread sealant is this right here, Permatex High Temp Thread Sealant. So I'm gonna get these all cleaned up, get them resealed with something proper, and that's probably gonna take care of the first oil leak. That is resealed, that is resealed, that is resealed. Let's toss in some oil and see if it's fixed. So I've let the car idle for quite a while, trying to get this thing to leak again just to make sure that it's good, and it's not leaking whatsoever. So I think issue number 1 is now fixed, and we can try and fix issue number 2, which is the power steering. Alright guys, the rack is indeed leaking. It looks like it's leaking from up top where it would connect to the steering column. If you watch the channel for any sort of years, I've tried to rebuild racks in the past. Every time I fail, they usually end up leaking just as bad, if not worse. I'm just gonna go ahead and replace it. But in the meantime, while we wait for a new rack, let's go on a rip. Keep in mind the car is on pump gas right now. I have no idea what it makes on pump. I'll be able to give you a butt dyno here in a second. If I had to guess, probably like mid 600s on pump gas would be my assumption. So this, of course, is by far the quickest car that I own right now. The only thing comparable that I've ever owned in the past would be the all-wheel drive Civic, the EM1. That car made more power than this car, but still, this thing should be insane on ethanol. It's got a full tank of pump gas in it, otherwise I would just drain it out and go to E to really get the full effect, but we can save that for a different day. That is the slowest car. That's the slowest car I've ever felt in my life. 13 pounds of boost. What in the jimmy is this? How do we turn it up? Literally 13 pounds of boost. I think a stock STI is faster. I was all like expecting to go for a rip, a party, and here she is, not moving. Hold up. It's on intelligent. Let's go to Sport Sharp. Josh is the tuner of this car, and I know he always does like low boost, medium boost, high boost based off of the intelligent Sport Sharp. That was ridiculous. Let's try that again. There we go. There we go. Okay, that's a little bit better. I would guess that's probably like 650 wheel. Got her back in the shop. The oil leak is officially fixed. That right there is red, meaning it is from the power steering rack. And while we wait for the new rack to come in, let's go ahead and make this thing a little bit more of our own. All right, I got all the random stickers pulled off of the car. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put some stock parts back on it. This hood, as you can see, it is a Cybon carbon hood. She desperately needs some love. I like the mirrors, but I think I like the OEM ones better, especially because we are gonna be going back to the factory trunk and factory wing on this car as well. Now, thankfully, when I bought this STI, he was kind enough to give me all the factory parts. So here we have, I mean, they're kind of dusty. I need to clean them up. But the factory hood and trunk and wing. And I do have the stock mirrors as well. It does look pretty sick wingless, but it is an STI. And I think the STIs definitely deserve the OEM wing. All right, factory hood is back on. Fits well, but there is a lot of scuffing. I'm assuming just from storage. I'm hoping a lot of this is gonna come out. Let's get the trunk on, and we need to do a little bit of polishing. Alrighty, my friends, OEM trunk and wing and OEM hood are back on the car. This is how an STI should look. Let's see about getting this hood cleaned up. Thankfully, the trunk is in pretty good shape. The hood, like I said, man, I think it just got hammered in storage. Like, look at that. That's pretty rough. I would say about 95% of the defects came out of the hood. She turned out phenomenal. Very, very happy with how this thing came out. One more factory part I really want to install is the factory mirrors. The car currently has a set of APR carbon mirrors, but I definitely want to go back to the factory mirrors on this car. It's kind of funny. I don't know why APR did this. Those bolts don't go to anything. In order to get the mirror off, you got to pull a door panel, and there's 3 bolts that go in through the door to the back of the mirror. Oh yeah, mirrors back on. I do still need to go through the interior. I'm gonna put the factory rear seat in, take out this bolt-in cage, literally just for looks. And I'm gonna go back to the OEM front seats as well. Other than that, I like how this car is coming out. I do need to fix that headlight, but let's go to a nice little photo shoot location and get some good images of the new setup. All right, boys, that is going to be a wrap on the day. I do have a new rack, or good used rack, on the way. As soon as that's here, we'll get that replaced. And other than that, this thing should be good to go. Very, very excited to get this pump gas out of here, get her back on ethanol, and see how it truly feels. It's quick on pump, but not fast enough.